Wow, I need my management team to work a bit better. Bit frustrated with my management. Wish my management team would step up. I want to have a really high performance management team. These are the sorts of quotes, these are the sorts of comments I hear all too often. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm Andrew Laurie from BGB. And yes, I want to talk about high performing management teams. A lot of people just complain about their management teams. Some people are more focused on getting a really high performing management team. From my perspective, for two basic reasons, it's absolutely necessary. One is simply, if your business is ever going to work without you, you need someone else running it. And yes, you need single point accountability running it, but that person needs a management team in place. So having a strong management team performing well is necessary if you're ever to be able to let go of the day-to-day of your business and indeed be confident and comfortable doing so. Go a step further though, if you really want your business to flourish, to grow, if you're stepping back from day to day because perhaps you are the bottleneck, then that'll never happen unless you've got a high-performing management team. It's interesting to me, if I look at the various clients I work with, those who are growing the fastest and achieving the most probably spend more time talking to me about their management team performance than anyone else. Now, they're not in the category of, I've got a disastrous management team, help me fix it. They are absolutely in the category of, I know that if I get my management team really humming along, then my business is going to skyrocket, it's going to fly. And so that's what we look at. Now, there's probably one main distinction I want to make about what we're talking about here, and then a couple of specific things you can look out for, you'll be able to observe in your team. And if you can't observe them in your team, you can certainly develop them in your team. The distinction I want to make first, a management team that's really high quality and really high performing, it goes a step beyond having really good managers in it. That is necessary. You need strong performers in your executive team, your leadership team, your management team, whatever you call it, that need to be strong in their function. They need to take good ownership of their function. They need to be accountable for that activity. So you need a great head of sales, killing it on sales. You need a really terrific head of finance, CFO, finance manager, financial controller, whatever you call it, who's really got their hands around the numbers and got things under control then, running the finance operation well. Head of marketing, head of HR manager. All of these functions, whatever is your structure, you need strong individuals doing a fantastic job of their function. But that's not enough. What I want to focus on is going beyond just strong individual managers or executives to a really high-performing management or executive team. And this is where you start to see that management team almost operating sometimes as a sort of a single entity, almost taking collective ownership for the aggregate result, the total company result. And let's be honest, in the end, that is what they're doing. Because the company is only going to achieve its best results if the whole business is working well and working well together. And so a really strong management team, to a certain extent, takes that perspective. They look at it as we as a collective take total ownership of this whole result and we'll work together to deliver it. Absolutely, each one of us will take primary focus on our area, but we are going to take collective responsibility. The sorts of behaviours you're going to observe here, when you're talking about financial results, perhaps in your weekly or month-end board meetings, month-end reviews, those sorts of meetings, you'll see the entire team fully engaged in that conversation. The HR manager doesn't sit out the finance conversation because she or he are not into numbers. Everybody in the team is engaged in that conversation because they understand they all have ownership at some level of the total result. You will see behaviours like individuals in the team proactively seeking from others and offering to others assistance on their primary challenge, their biggest opportunity they're pursuing. It'll be the sales guy seeking out the finance girl to get some extra analysis done to help them with sales. Equally, it might be the operations girl seeking out the finance girl, same person let's say, to offer some ideas on how to improve collections of receivables, for example. So you'll see this behaviour where they are each seeking to help out each other, and whether it's proactively seeking that help or proactively offering that help to others. That's the sort of behaviour you'll see. You'll see also that there's a high degree of overlap on some of the projects. You'll have, for example, a project being run within finance, but it's sponsored by the head of sales because the project might have a particular impact on that division. You have to remember that in a successful company, in any company really, you've got a huge amount of overlap between these functions. Sales doesn't operate in a silo. Sales, of course, works with marketing. And actually, sales has to work with delivery or operations as well to make sure they're selling the right things. Has to get some analysis from finance. Everyone, HR is working with everyone. Finance is working with everyone. Marketing has to work with finance to get their budgeting right and their analysis right, so on and so forth. So there's huge overlap that requires this sort of interactive approach. And finally, everyone on that executive team. Your executive team usually is a collection of the more experienced and the more capable people in your business. And each of them has a different perspective from their different experiences, from their different function. They're the only one with their perspective. And so getting them to address any opportunity or challenge in the business from their perspective adds something to it. So there are many reasons why this is, I'll say, required. It's certainly optimal, but if you want to be high performing, it's required. And what I mean by it's required is that your management team, your leadership team goes beyond a collection of really strong managers and leaders undertaking and managing their function to becoming that singular body, that singular entity that between them have collective ownership of the entire result. And once you see these behaviours, once they operate like that, you'll see some fantastic results. Enjoy it. All the best.